What is up, you guys? It's David here, back with another episode, and today I have Jimmy Clare, the owner and founder of Crazy Fitness Guy, and he's here today to talk about his organization, um, share a little bit about his his disability, how the obstacles he's faced with it, and how he's overcome everything to become a successful fitness, I guess it would be instructor. So I'm looking forward to hearing your story, Jimmy. Take it away.
Thanks for having me. Uh, so, I'm on the autistic spectrum, and and I've created my own business called Crazy Fitness Guy. Um, I'm actually a motivational speaker. Uh, I but you're not wrong about my website. It was at first geared towards just fitness, uh, but um, My I started outranking Richard Simmons on from his Wikipedia page for a Crazy Fitness Guy. So I couldn't just back down from the name, and I'm actually currently waiting for my trademark to go through, while the government is sleeping on my trademark. Uh, uh, it's fine. The time frame that they give you is supposed to be like 6 to 12 months. It's been like 13, almost 14 now. I'm like,
Oh man, I'm just ready to go. Either give me the name or just call it a day.
yeah, exactly. It's like, can you just approve that? I even said to my lawyer, it's like, can I get a free trademark from Uncle Sam's? They can pay me $100 every month that they're late.
Exactly. Hey, and who doesn't like $300 a month, right? It's money in
Yeah,
your pocket.
exactly. Uh, so it was geared towards fitness, but then when I switched jump majors in my college 5 different times until I found the right major for me, uh, I switched gears towards my website. So my website's geared towards motivating people to start living a healthier lifestyle. Uh, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome. I like it. You and I are pretty much in common. We're trying to gear everything towards promoting health, but also showing people that our disabilities don't stop us from achieving what we want to achieve. Our goals. So we definitely have that in common.
Yeah. Uh, one thing I one thing I and one thing I try to when I talk to a lot of these conventions I do and podcast guest appearance I do, I always tell people, even though I'm autistic, I don't ca- even though that the government and uh, has put labels on uh, our extra challenges and they label as disabilities. I never liked the word disabilities because it just kind of I don't know, it kind of feels wrong in sort of a way. Like let's say if somebody wasn't able to walk who was in a wheelchair for life, right? And it's like calling them like saying disabilities is like pointing out to them like, oh well, you can't walk, you can't do this, and for them to group us into a category of disabilities is like, well, I can walk, but the person over there might not be able to walk. You can't just put me. I mean, I'm not just singling me out. I'm just saying, not everyone with challenges are disabled. So I never really, I don't really feel like that word is appropriate.
But, I actually agree. Like it seems there's some kind of like negative connotation behind it when you say it because like you said, it categorizes a lot of individuals separately. You know,
Yeah,
versus just hey, this is Jimmy. He's an individual. He's a human being. But instead of saying that, it just categorizes you as this is Jimmy. He has autism and he's disabled. Or it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah. And it's like, perhaps maybe we should call them like, say, uh, extra challenges. And it's like, because extra challenges, I'm, I don't, in my opinion, and somebody could disagree with me, I don't really find that as offenses as disabilities, because it's like, oh, you're disabled. And it's like, I can walk, I can do a lot of things. So tell me I'm I'm weird and I'm disabled. It's like, okay, thanks. I'm not a robot, and I'm not an alien from outer space.
The thing that I tell people is instead of using the word disabilities, try and define them based on what they do, like their occupations. Like instead of saying what I said earlier, like I could introduce you as this is Jimmy, the motivational speaker,
Hmm.
or the fitness enthusiast. That would sound so much better than just, oh, this is Jimmy. He's disabled, and or like myself, oh, this is David. He has cerebral palsy, and that's the thing is, as a person like myself, you and I, we worked for years to kind of break that stigma and to define what we've accomplished, versus just because of the disability. I mean, at the beginning, you feel like you're defined based off your label, but as you work over the years, you're defined based off what you've accomplished and what kind of occupations you're in, and that's how it should be.
Exactly. I've been told by doctors I wouldn't be able to walk without braces or crutches. Had neither. I also been told I was not going to read higher than a second grade level, and I'm in college, and reading is one of my strong suits.
Look at you now, kicking ass.
Yeah, and what's really funny. Uh, uh, well, I mean, I wouldn't say funny, but now I kind of. Well, actually, that's kind of pretty funny. Some people told me that I'm a fast reader. Like, I've joined this book club at my church, and what's funny, there's it's just the three of us, a pastor, and this other young lady there. And what was really funny is that I basically read the book in maybe a week and a half, and and so they're also reading it, and so I had to go back to like flip back through different chapters. Well, I mean, this book doesn't really have chapter, but I had to go back to the different pages of what we're discussing, because it's like I remember reading that, but it felt like a lifetime ago.
I bet.
But yeah, it's kind of nice to be kind of a fast reader, because some of the stuff that I read for school, not very interesting.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I was a sociology major, and I had to do a lot of papers and read a lot of stories and articles that sometimes just didn't really interest me at all. But then I realized, this is a part of the whole degree, so might as well just pull through it, and just get it done, you
Yeah,
know.
I'm actually in my sociology class right now. My teacher, he's nice. I believe my classmates are nice. I don't really get to interact with them very much because we're on Zoom. But I'm not very interested in sociology. Um, I'm more interested in uh, motivational speaking. I haven't taken the class yet, because I was hoping eventually we'll get back into being in person, and I can speak in front of my class instead of just being on Zoom, which I don't mind being Zoom, but after a while, I kind of just like, wake me up when class is over.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like this whole pandemic, as far as being a public speaker, has been very rough. Like honestly, I prefer live in-person appearances because you get to see the emotional reaction and you get to see people, ask you questions firsthand. And not only that, but I just miss the interaction like after the appearance. People come up to you and they speak to you or they want pictures. You know, that's the best part when people are so inspired that they want more. They want to hear more.
Well, to be honest, I have never gotten to that spot yet. Uh, I started motivational speaking around the end of 2019. And then I had my first in-person um, speaking gig at the small place, and I did my talk. Um, I have to say though, I was not very thrilled the way how I did that talk though, because I had the paper in front of me. I knew exactly what I wanted to say, but it was my very first time speaking. I wouldn't say, I mean, I've done presentations in front of class before, but like I want to tell the story off at the top of my head, and because it sounded better, but uh, I kind of missed some spots here and there, and I just kind of felt like everything was kind of rushed. And if I could ever redo that, I would love to be able to redo it because I did not like. But I've gotten better over time. I've done. I'm actually preparing for my second convention this Saturday, so at least somebody wants me back.
That is awesome. I've done well. My first one was at a I did a graduation actually. Spoke at a graduation, and that was pretty interesting though. I was a very small crowd. I shared my story, and they were really intrigued by it. And I was a little nervous at first because it's my first little crowd, and this was about 3 years ago I began, and then after that I did UCF twice. So I did University of Central Florida twice, and then since then I've been doing sporadic. Before the shutdown, I did nonprofits and other organizations, and I was able to go back and forth. And then the pandemic hit, and here I am on Zoom, and not really. Honestly, it's been rough, but at least we get gigs.
Yeah, I've been uh, like I told you before. Before we started, this is my 59th guest appearance. Uh, I've my goal is to get to 100 by the end of 2021. Some of my friends is like, oh, you could probably get by in December. I'm like, you do realize we're still in the beginning of March. You kind of just forgot the rest of March, April, May, June, and all those other months. Count
Yep.
me out, fine.
But like they think that you can't make it to 100. And
Earlier.
watch, you'll make it. You'll make it.
Yeah, I just need another what 41. That is
Yep, you're getting close.
yep.
So tell me a little bit about your I guess your fitness venture. What's how did you begin the blog? How did you come up with the idea?
So I started Crazy Fitness Guy back in 2017. I was finishing up um, my my English class, and I really liked my English professor. Even though I was not thrilled of writing so many essays, but and papers, but he was a funny teacher. He let us basically do a lot of different topics we were interested in. So that was helpful, and and I could see my writing get better over time. My first essay that I wrote in college, it looked like a treasure map. And what I mean, there were so many arrows, X's, y- like lines crossed out. It was I was like, yeah, am I that bad of a writer? He's like, no, like the idea is there, but you're just missing all this other stuff along with it. And I was like, of course, that's the story of my life here. And
So you have the structure, but you're missing the meat and potatoes, is
yeah,
what he's saying.
and so he
Yeah.
basically and so and and what's cool, one of my papers actually got published in my college. They were doing this contest, this writers contest, and one of my papers got published um, in this kind of a book. I still have it. I forget what I wrote about it. I took a look at it like sometime last year, and I kind of forget what I wrote about. That's what happens when you have a website, when you keep writing and writing. You kind of forget which articles you wrote about already. It's like, uh,
Like what now?
yeah. Um, one of one of the but the reason why I started the website was I wanted to keep improving my writing over and over again. And I needed to make sure I could keep myself accountable to keep coming back each and every week. So I thought, hey, maybe I should make a website because the only way to get people to keep coming back to your website is keep showing up. You don't just keep getting new people to your website without showing up consistently. So first started on WordPress, and I had to tell you that was the biggest mistake of my life ever. uh, I was working 90 plus hours a week. Uh,
Yikes.
and I was staying up until like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning trying to fix a problem. Later
Oh
on,
no.
I kind of just kept breaking the same thing over and over again. I'm not a developer, so mistakes happen. And uh, after doing that for about a year, I moved to Squarespace, where I've been there, let's say, happy and unhappy at the same time sometimes. Uh, it's kind of like a mixed feeling. Some days it's really, really awesome, but then some days when something just doesn't work correctly, or I need to find a big workaround on something that should be kind of easy, in my opinion, kind of gets annoying, but at least I don't have to deal with a bunch of third-party developers on WordPress. And I'm not saying anything bad about the developers. It's just this: if you have a plugin for this, that's made by a different developer, and then there's the other plugin
Hmm.
made by another developer. That plugin might not work with this plugin, and so on. And I'm like, this is just stupid.
Right.
I was like, you can't tell me this is how bad technology is. And it's like, yep, it's bad. I had a lot of stuff breaking on WordPress, and I'm like, yeah, this is fun.
Like never again. So in regards to kind of what we talked about, what is I guess a piece of advice you'd give to somebody that is in your shoes or has been in your shoes where they've faced a lot of adversity and trying to, I guess, get things accomplished. I know you've accomplished a lot with your appearances and the blog and other ventures you've done. So, what is some advice you'd like to give the listeners?
My advice for those on the autism spectrum or parents of those people on the autism spectrum, or just anybody who knows someone who's on the spectrum, I would say keep supporting us. We always have, if you give us the right tools and you give and you have us meet the right people, and if you have us and you help us and support us through our struggles and teach us tools and coping mechanisms with dealing with stressful situations or changes in schedules unexpectedly. Uh, you can see we have a lot of ta- extra talents. I know some people on the spectrum. I've learned over the years that some of them can't talk. It'd be nice if some of the big technology companies would come out with devices to help people who can't talk to talk. Um, I remember reading an article, and I don't exactly. I remember there's one main thing of the article, but I don't remember where it was published because I read it a few years ago, and I saved it somewhere. I don't remember exactly where I saved it. I switched a lot of tools over times of saving stuff too, so it might kind of mix up somewhere or deleted by accident. But I remember reading that Google had these glasses called Google glasses,
Oh yeah,
um, and
major fail.
well, no, not necessarily. Wait until you hear this part. So, a school, I think it was Harvard, did a research study, and for those people, they had I think it was like 3 or 4 people on the spectrum, uh, to use these Google glasses to see if it improves uh, understanding facial cues and everything, and social situations. And so I think it was done over like a week or a month. I forget the exact details again. I don't have the article. I wish I did. Uh, anyway, there was this, and so after a week or a month of doing this research study, they showed that people on the spectrum in their uh, in their families, their relationships have gotten better because they were seeing, they were understanding people's facial cues, and they were better interacting with each other with the glasses, and I thought that was kind of cool because I, being on as being a person on the autism spectrum, uh, all those years of hardships of me trying to figure out what people are feeling, or if they're angry or they're just keeping inside of them because they don't want to set me off or something. I was like, where's my cheat sheet? I was like, come on. It's like, can I get one of those?
Right.
It's like, embed it in my Warby Parker glasses, please. Come on, give me that technology.
Right. Make everything so much easier.
Yeah, it's like I don't cheat in life. I just, it's like just a little cheat sheet. I'm like, come on, just a tiny.
So, so one of the things that I like to do with every guest is I like to, if you have like anything you'd like to promote out there, like any like product or any services or anything, I always like to have the room on the podcast for you to kind of explain what you offer and to have, I guess, the listeners flock to you. So if they need, any like fitness advice or you have anything that, you're trying to promote out there, I always encourage it.
Well, I have a podcast called Crazy Fitness Guys Healthy Living Podcast, and it can be found pretty much on every podcasting app. And I also have my own. Uh, I also have my own T-shirts, sweatshirts, etc. on my website. Well, technically, it's on my not on my website. It's on a third-party website, but uh, it has my logo on it. Says mine. Uh, and yeah, T-shirts, sweatshirts, face masks. I think a coffee cup. Uh, haven't, I'm always looking. I'm eventually gonna get some more new products in there. I just been busy with school. Even though it doesn't take very long, but sometimes the creative juices come to me at weird times of days and weeks, and then it's like, hey, I got a good idea for this.
Right. It always happens at the most at the weirdest times, the most, you know, opportune times you won't even think of. Things happen.
Exactly.
Well, Jimmy, I appreciate you being on the show. Of course, all the information that he just gave me, I'll hopefully be able to obtain it from him, and I'll put it on the under the description of the episode. That'll be on YouTube and also on the podcast. And you guys can find my podcast on Apple, Spotify, and every other major podcasting outlet out there. So thank you, Jimmy, for being on the show. It was a pleasure. And guys, remember, if I can do it, so can you.